Yo, yo, yo! Welcome back to the MMA Short Show. As always, your boy, Stephen Moustaris. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. I hope they had a great weekend. I mean, my goodness, it was beautiful out. And even with the week off of MMA, it somehow MMA still comes out as champion over the weekend. In a night that was completely surrounded by that man, Shakur Stevenson, supposed to come out here, one of his big coming out parties, supposed to show why he should be fighting Tank Davis in boxing, one of the most hyped names out there. Goes out there, puts a dud, and you got two 37-year-old men, Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz, who aren't even fighting in their main sport, go out there in boxing and just put on an absolute show. Like, yeah, was it the most, was it the most technical fight of all time? No. But these guys walking each other down, absolute barn burner. I mean, it was funner than the top prospect in boxing right now. Like, shouts out to MMA, man. It's always king. And with the Shakur Stevenson, I know he won. I know he looked decent and everything, but the amount of hate that I'm seeing this man get online and whatnot, it almost felt like he did lose a fight. And then it had me thinking for the next few months in the UFC here, I know we don't have the greatest fight cards coming up in the next 2 weeks, but, starting here in England, it's got me thinking, who's got the most to lose as a champion right now in the UFC and MMA? And clearly pound for pound king Islam and, even Alex Pereira, both of those guys clearly just got their wins, so they're safe right now for the next few months. And, arguably they probably have the most to lose out of everyone. You could add John Jones in there too, I guess, maybe. But, when it comes to the actual scheduled bouts for the next few months, who's got the most to lose? You got Leon Edwards out there who's fighting Bilal Muhammad, which if he loses to Bilal Muhammad in his hometown with a card pretty much surrounding him, I mean, my goodness, that could be the end of Leon right there. After beating, Kamaru Usman twice, not just once, but twice, and then to take out Colby Covington the way that he did, and just seeing how he just took out basically the two-headed monster of welterweight for the last 5 years, I mean, it would be an absolute heartbreaker for this man, Leon Edwards. Especially seeing I don't think he's deserved an automatic rematch if he does lose to somebody like Bilal. So, I mean, for him to go right back down into the fire pit of 170 where you got Shavkat coming up, you got, JDM coming up, you got Ian Gary. I mean, you still got the killers out there of Michael Venom Page who wants to fight you, and you guys have, a lot of beef. I mean, that right then and there would be detrimental to Leon Edwards, and that could be somehow we could be seeing a Tyron Woodley type deal where, he looked so great for so long, but then after a while he loses one fight to somebody he shouldn't have lost to, might lose his confidence, and then all of a sudden he's got to fight all these killers. I mean, if you're going to lose to one of those guys, and at least make sure you're the champion, but if you're going to lose to Bilal and then now you got to fight Shavkat, JDM, any of these guys, and it's for just a number one contenders match or something, and then you got Tom Aspinall on the same night. Imagine both of these guys losing somehow in the same night. England might be the biggest loser, but when it comes to a champion, Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades, I mean, this would be huge for Tom Aspinall. This would pretty much lock in a guaranteed, fight with Alex Pereira, John Jones, Stipe, whichever one. He's already should be doing this anyway. But, I mean, this guy's the most hype, talk of the town for a while now. The way he took out Sergey Pavlovich, I mean, my goodness, this man is a dog, and everybody wants a John Jones fight. So if Tom Aspinall, which probably is the face of heavyweight here, the future for the next however long, because it doesn't seem like they're probably going to bring Francis back, but if they do somehow with, like, if you guys watched the last, post-fight interview with Dana White, it was kind of weird how he was talking about how well he is with certain guys over in ONE or PFL and all these different things all of a sudden. So you never know. He maybe could be working out a Tom Aspinall versus Francis Ngannou fight, or a John Jones versus Francis or something. But if Tom Aspinall wants this, man, he's got to get through Curtis Blades. That's the guy everybody's been able to get through with these last few champions, especially when you're talking about Francis, Derek Lewis, most of these hitters that have been up at the top of the division forever. Like, this is one of the biggest, obstacles out there. So he might not lose too much on a loss to Curtis Blades because, I mean, we all know heavyweight's not the most stacked ever. Like, maybe it'll take him one or two more fights to get right back in track, and I think he could beat somebody like Cyril Gane. I think he could beat Sergey Pavlovich again. I think he could beat Alexander Volkov again. We've seen him do this plenty of times, so I think he could climb back. So it might not be too detrimental to his, his title hopes for the next few years and his reign then. But when it comes to the top tier fights, maybe the hopes to go fight Francis or to fight John Jones or to fight Alex Pereira and become one of the greatest of all time, you got to get through Curtis Blades. Dricus Du Plessis fighting Izzy, you never know what could happen with that. I mean, it might be a top 10 grudge match of all time at this rate. The way that these guys hate each other, the way that that it's pretty much Africa versus Africa. I don't know what's going to happen, but, arguably for DDP, if he loses against Izzy, you lost to an all-time great. It's not going to hurt that much. And if you go out there and beat Izzy, I mean, this man's making a case right now, going out there and beating Sean Strickland, beating Robert Whitaker, beating Izzy. I mean, he's got a strong chance. But if he loses, I don't think he has that much to lose because you always have a chance. Izzy doesn't seem like he's going to be there much longer. He's done so much in the sport already. I don't see him, really sitting around and trying to re-dominate 185 again. So I think DDP doesn't have much to lose. But this is where it starts to get a little scary for one of these champions. I mean, you have Aaliyah Topuria and you have Sugar Sean O'Malley, who seem like they want to fight each other in the future. But when it comes to Sugar Sean, if we're, for the Sugar Sean fans out there, we all know that the UFC thinks very highly of him. He's one of the first champions to ever have a full fight thrown on, YouTube right after it's done. I mean, they've been pushing this man forever. They want him to be champion. It's perfect what they've been doing for him. He's one of the biggest superstars ever. We see he comes out to Lupe Fiasco. He's got the pods. He's got everything. He does it all. You just saw him, just doing the whole commentating for Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. He did a great job that night. The dude is a superstar, but when it comes to him against Merab, I mean, yes, if he loses to Merab, sure, you lose the championship. Maybe you lose a little bit of fire. But I think it's going to be, if he does lose, it's going to be a grappling match. It's all going to come down to how he loses. If he gets knocked out by Merab, then yeah, we're going to be sitting here like, holy shit, you lost a lot. But if this man gets grinded out for 5 rounds, gets rode by the pace that we see Merab, I mean, are we really going to be that mad at Sugar Sean O'Malley to losing to an absolute great grappler who has made everybody look bad, made Piotr Yan look bad, he made Jose Aldo look bad, he made all these guys look terrible. I mean, honestly, Merab has one of the ugliest fighting styles I've ever seen, but it's one of the scariest I'd ever want to fight because you hear it all the time. If you guys have trained anything, when your cardio gets out on you and you have no more oxygen, you have nothing left in your tank, it's the most vulnerable you could ever be as a human being, and Merab would do that to you. I'd rather fight this man, Francis Ngannou, than ever fight Merab. I'm telling you right now, Merab would gas me out and make me embarrassed. So if he loses to Sugar, if Sugar loses to him, it's going to be a grappling match that he loses to. So it's like, did he lose much? But when it comes to Aaliyah Topuria fighting Max Holloway, if he loses to Max after all the stuff he's been talking, after everything he's been doing, even saying that he's the GOAT already, saying all these guys don't deserve it, if he's going to go out there and lose to Max, it's going to be a stand-up. It's going to probably be a record-breaking, number, punch thrown on him and landed on him. Or he's going to get sparked like Justin Gaethje did. Like, it'll be a lot uglier. And at least when you're Sugar Sean, you have plenty. You could always move up. You could always go do whatever other fights. You could always do anything. You could get right back into it, have some fun fights with Corey Sandhagen. Everybody's still going to watch you. You lost to a grappler. Cool. But when it comes to this man, Aaliyah Topuria, if he loses to Max Holloway, I mean, I'm a Max Holloway fan forever, but he's one of the greatest of all time. It's not like you lost too badly, but it's the way that he's been going about things, acting like he's too cocky, acting like he's too good, acting like he's already done everything that like Izzy's already done, or Anderson Silva's already done, or GSP did, or John Jones. Like, he acts like he's one of these guys already. And my man Max Holloway is the worst person to ever act that way towards, because, man, you haven't been very active, and this man Max is out here doing it. So, I mean, I think Aaliyah Topuria probably... It's a toss-up here. I think it really comes down to Tom Aspinall and Aaliyah Topuria. I think they're the most hyped. I think when it comes to who's got the most to lose, I mean, my goodness, Tom Aspinall losing that fight to Curtis Blades would just lose everything when it comes to the John Jones hype, the Alex Pereira hype. Like, dude, you lost to Curtis Blades, dude. You either got knocked out or you got finished by Curtis Blades, probably submitted, or just ground and pound or something. So, and then Aaliyah Topuria, like, yeah, sure, you could probably make a case that he'll come back and everything, but if he goes out there and loses to Max, it'd probably be the most embarrassing loss, just the way he's handling everything. He just making it sound like Max is ducking him and all these things, and the way he's talking in his interviews, like nobody deserves these fights. Let me give it to Brian Ortega, who can't even make weight and even fight, who's already lost to people. Like, come on, dog. You have so much talent, and you're knocking out Volk. You knocked out the GOAT. Like, go out there and keep doing it. Keep putting the performances on. But the way he's handling, if he loses this first fight and doesn't even get a title defense, I mean, my goodness. But he also probably has top 2 most to gain, top 3 most to gain. It probably between Sugar, probably Sugar, Aaliyah, and good old Tom Aspinall probably have the most to gain on these wins. But as always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. You guys let me know who you guys think has the most to lose. And then, as always, your boy. Let's get it, baby.